Hey there, it's your friend Kaki, and before we get to this week's episode of So Farscape, I just wanted to thank everybody who joined us last Friday night when Kay and I were on Gigi Edgley's Twitch stream. We're still starstruck over meeting the fantastic actress who brought Gianna to life. She was so much fun and will definitely be back. If you missed it, the recording of the stream is on Gigi's YouTube. You can find the link in the show notes of this very podcast, or you can search YouTube for Gigi Edgley So Farscape, where, incredibly, we're the top hit. Anyway, on with the episode. Enjoy!
Hello and welcome to So Farscape,
A fun-filled Farscape fancast by a fervent fan
and a frankly fascinated first-timer.
I'm Kaki.
I'm Kay, and this is the story So Farscape.
Today, I know that we normally sort of recount what has happened so far and the science jock on the living spaceship, and all of that is great. But we had a very special recording today because we had a guest in the So Farscape studios. Your boyfriend decided to join us, and the first episode of Farscape that he watched in his entire life
was episode 204, Crackers Don't Matter.
So I sort of feel like we need to have a bonus episode where we just ask him what he thinks this series is about.
Who do you think is Tentacles? Who do you think? I mean, he has listened to a few of the episodes of the podcast because he just likes to have just people nattering away there, just like people talking in the background, and he enjoys listening to it. But yeah, that's his only exposure to Farscape so far, our podcast.
Yes, afterward I realized he'd never seen it before, and then I immediately told him, they act like this all the time. I
mean, they kind of do, as we said. It's like, it's their usual behavior dialed up to 11.
Okay, we're starting on the episode. We actually need a little bit of a run-up. We need to do an intro and let everybody in. And I have an idea for that. Because do you know how the morning is the most productive time of day?
So they say. I mean, I know people who that definitely is not true for, but...
So I got up early this morning for no reason, and then I decided to spend my productive morning making a database of all the kisses in season 1.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
So let's go over some of the data that I've gathered about these kisses.
Who has been kissing the most? I think Crichton has been kissing.
Crichton is an easy one.
He is the kisser. He's the hugger.
Yeah, so I do actually have separate counts for kissers, kissees, and there's a lot of dimensions, like whether it was a real kiss or not. Like, it includes stuff like Jotheb, of the consortium crowd, which is totally a kiss, because Aaron does the kiss of life to John as well, and that also counts. There's also like some iffy ones, John kissing Australia when he landed. It was fake Australia, and it was sort of an open mouth.
And he's not the Pope, so...
Well, let's see if he qualifies.
He might be Catholic. I think that's the only two requirements that you have to be to be Pope. You have to be male, and you have to be baptized Catholic. And that's the only two requirements that there actually are for being elected Pope. I mean, it's tradition that they elect one of the archbishops, but that's not required.
Right, okay. So it could just be anyone.
Any baptized Catholic male can become Pope.
Presenting as male or male identifying or like gonad, testes?
I mean, I believe there is a ritual about that.
Because that's apocryphal. That's not true. But yes, I know the one you're talking about, but with the Casino Royale chair and holding them. And, there are two of them and they hang well.
Yes.
I mean, there is no such requirement, or there should be no such requirement for astronauts in IASA. Yes, Crichton is definitely number 1 when it comes to kissing, but... Okay, now, who do you think is number 2? And keep in mind, I have spent the whole morning looking at all the GIFs.
GIFs.
Yes, we use the French pronunciation of GIF here.
Because we decided to have the war between GIF and GIF. It's like the best compromise is one where everybody isn't happy, so we're going with GIF.
I'm so happy that you taught that to me, Kay. It's perfect. So, yes, I looked at all the GIFs of season 1 to find all the kisses. And anytime that you come up for air and you go back in, that counts as another kiss. Right? But so does the kiss of life.
Right.
So, who do you think is number 2 for number of kisses? Total number of kisses, including...
or received, or both?
Both. Let's put them both together.
Well, I know Rigel's pretty high on the received count, I think.
Very good.
Even though...
Not number 2, but very good.
But I think probably Aaron? Oh, Dago or Aaron? Dago is also fairly affectionate. So, okay. I'm going to put 5 points on Dargo, because I think you'll think that that Aaron is the most obvious choice.
Oh, that's too bad. Dargo, 5 points down the drain there. You're losing them quickly. Dargo actually scored really low. He's only got 2 kisses in there.
One of them from John, I know. John kisses him once.
No.
Oh?
They never kiss.
I thought John kisses Dargo at one point, but okay, never mind. Yeah.
Well, unless I've just posted it on Twitter, so we'll see if I get corrected on that. No, he's kissed Zan while he was under the influence of his space delirium.
Yes.
Thinking that she was his wife Lolan, and he kissed Yuri Gagarin's Gish.
Right.
For luck in the final episode. So no, he actually scores really low.
Okay.
Number 2 goes to Jelena. She's the PK Tech girl.
Oh, yes, of course. I was only thinking main cast, so that's a bit of a sneaky one.
Wow.
You pulled a little sneaky on me there. Yeah.
She's a returning character.
I know. No, I'm not saying,
I get it.
I'm not saying it's invalid. I'm just saying that it's like I didn't consider that.
Oh, and I noticed something when I was reviewing that, because you remember how she kissed him on the eyebrow first, and how we remarked that was probably a sebation thing.
Yeah.
And then I saw later in that same episode when they're in the hallway, that was episode PK Tech Girl,
episode
end of
6
summer
or something,
camp.
yeah.
And number 7, very good.
Yeah.
End of summer camp, and like, we'll stay in touch.
Yeah,
right? He kisses her eyebrow.
Well, it goes back to that whole thing which we talked about. People copying
Each
things
other's...
that social interactions, gestures, hand gestures, and mannerisms in order to be in a alien society. If like someone does something a particular way, then it's like considered
that's how you do it.
Good form to return that on them. I mean, I guess that opens up another can of worms in case there's different social status interactions involved. But still, it makes for a generic.
Oh, like a salam.
Right, for instance,
where the gesture, depending on how high you do it relative to your body, that's
I thought that was the Thai version. The Thai ones,
great microphone technique there.
Sorry, I just bumped the microphone.
So we have a joint 3rd place.
Yeah.
Between Rigel and Aaron.
Yes.
Rigel, he's a kissy boy. He hasn't actually given any, but he's...
No, I was going to say, he's the one who always gets doted upon. And okay, when you were watching those kisses,
yes,
were a lot of them on Rigel, were they kind of pedantic or genuine?
So I had a sincere checkbox there.
There you go.
And I think I checked 3 of them, because I think that it's sincere when both parties know who they are and they are real, and the affection is sincere.
Right. What does it mean? You can have a sarcastic kiss or
you can indeed have a sort of a mocking kiss by someone that doesn't really want it, but you know that you're close enough that you can get away with that and show your affection through that. And I still consider that sincere.
Fair enough.
So there you had Jotheb, kiss of life, not sincere. Crichton kissed Rigel twice.
Yeah.
Once when he came out of the trance that Maldis put him on, when he caught Rigel in the middle of his funeral, terrible funeral rites.
May your afterlife be almost as good as mine.
Go find your own hallowed realm.
And Zan at the dinner scene at the end of Through the Looking Glass.
Oh, yeah.
She reaches across and plants a smooch on little Rigel.
Rigel, yes.
And then the little peck on the forehead, the little benediction that Crichton gives Rigel in the season finale.
Right, and I guess this is just on-screen kisses, because I would assume that John and Aaron have shared a few more.
Yeah, between Dargo bursting in on them on the flax and on the fake Earth, defo.
Yes, totally. All right, so...
Well, hold on. No, that's
done
question.
Yet. Oh, yes.
So
who's after?
There's 3 people in joint 3rd place, and that's Rigel and Aaron. And who do you think is the 3rd in 3rd place for the number of on-screen kisses?
Ooh,
it's a tricky one. It's not a fake out.
Yeah. Okay.
But you know that it can include guest cast.
Okay. I was going to say I was almost going to hazard a guess and say it was Pilot, but I'm not sure if he gets any kisses.
Pilot's on 0.
He is on 0? Oh,
yeah.
Because I love that cuddle scene at the end of Through the Looking Glass. Where
I do too.
And it would be so nice if he'd gotten a few smooches from people.
Just a little smooch on the claw or whatever.
Or just like on the side of his clamshell hat.
I know. I studied them in detail. I couldn't find any.
He needs to be kissed.
Yeah, if he's into that sort of thing.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
so in season 1, who do you think is the 3rd person in the joint 3rd place? Yeah, we're going really deep.
Ooh. Is it Craig? Okay, I'm going to go with Crace.
Oh no, his first kiss is with Crichton, and that's in season 2. That's when he gets brought aboard.
Oh dear.
It's Tarleen, the Delvian woman in the only other
episode
with Delvians in it, and she's the one who takes the form of Alex, who is John's old flame.
Right, yes, and who pretends to be his wife. And
right, exactly, yeah.
Yes. Okay,
so they actually get a lot of kisses in that episode. It's really weird to like take something like this and sort of do it numerically.
Yes. How did you? I mean, you can't have re-watched all of this. How did you like get all the? Did you just ask Google to show you all the kisses and all the gifs?
I literally went through all 16, 17,000 gifs.
Wow.
Well, I have them in a sort of animated gallery, so you can sort of look at them,
but
like
still,
like it's in Brazil or something. The Terry Gilliam film, not the country, which is also great.
Oh, that might be a good one for a intermission. Oh, we've both seen it. That's unfortunate. I was going to say that would be a great hiatus a movie to watch. But
why? How does it relate?
You're right, it doesn't really.
Does it have puppets in it? Well, okay, hold on. We do have a greatest hiatus coming up, and I kind of want to be surprised still. So let's have a think about that, because yes, we do have an episode to do today. Gosh,
we're going on for a bit about it. Yes. So
I don't know. I'm just really into kissing. Some shows have a kill count. I don't care about that. I'm not really that into.
Yes.
This is going to be the kiss counter.
I mean, we must be down into like single kisses now at this point. Like if we go past third place, right?
Oh, you're still on it. Yes. So past the third place, let me see. Now, everyone on third place had 4 kisses. Oh, no. Zan is number 4. She had 3 kisses. Yeah. And then after that, everyone has just 1. And that's Linnea and Keir. He was the what did you call him? He didn't get a smooch.
He didn't? Oh, okay.
No, Grant Bowler was his name. He played Liko.
That's the one, Liko, yes.
Yeah, who was very fond of Zan. No smooches there. No, Keir was the Tavlek in the 4th episode, Thrown for a Loss.
Yes, I was going to say the name.
Max,
yeah, the name sounds familiar.
Warhammer 40k cosplayers,
space orcs,
and
sports.
Also, Australia gets 1 kiss.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's fair enough.
And Yuri Gagarin's quiche.
Oh well.
Okay. All right,
anyway,
okay.
Moving swiftly onwards.
Yeah, I know this is an unusual episode of So Farscape, where we spend a lot of time talking about all the kissing in a season that we're not discussing right now, but it's also a really unusual episode of Farscape.
It was a very unusual episode. On board Moya...
the music!
Prepare to starboard!
On board Moya, apparently there is a new arrival. Someone who's been brought aboard from another commerce planet on which there was like lots of bounty trackers, I think they're called.
Wanted beacons.
Wanted beacons, that's the one. I think we've seen one of those before in the on the other planet when it was...
very good, on Dambada.
Dambada, that's the one with Jockstrap girl.
Yeah, that is not the nickname that we can give to Magda Szubanski, who played the excellent Furlough, but yes, we had the chin jockstrap mechanic.
I loved her as a character. She was amazing.
Right?
Oh, don't you worry about that. Old Furlough can handle it. Everything's going to be just fine. That's my motto. No other way, you dumb well-nits.
So we have another person aboard who apparently has promised that they can produce some sort of cloaking device for Moya.
Yes, by adjusting Moya's biomagnetics. And the crew who went down to the planet, which seems to be everyone except Crichton. Did you get that?
No, nothing. What I did notice right from the start was that Crichton was really skeptic and angry again right at the beginning.
Yes.
He was extremely combative, and which we've seen in the past few episodes as well, that he kind of has these mood swings between being very standoffish and being very agreeable.
Oh, great. So he's like one of those mechanics on 60 Minutes. He says he's going to help, and then he screws us.
Crichton, we have to do something. Scorpius has left wanted beacons for us all over the Commerce planet.
He's extremely paranoid here already. He's questioning their decisions, and he's outrightly hostile toward this being who is introduced to him, Traltix.
His name is Traltix.
A person with a generous forehead, shall we say?
Yes, very much so.
As a person with a generous forehead myself, I could relate.
And he's got this little like accordion bellows on top of it as well.
Yes, because this Traltix, this alien with the sort of weird pointy ears and the weird spiky hair and has no eyes.
Yes, he got like he clearly still has eye sockets, but he's got like some gauzy skin growing over it.
Yeah, that's so that bellows. That was for the actor to be able to see because there's a periscope in there.
Oh, wow.
Right?
That's fantastic.
So, yeah, he had the sort of pasted over his forehead these fake alien sealed over eyes. And then, yeah, he had a series of mirrors through which he could actually peer at the world around him.
That must be actually quite weird to suddenly wear that and then be 4 inches taller than that you're normally used to being.
They should be tall.
It's tall enough already.
I need them to look up to me. Why? We don't.
Well, you should.
There is a scene where he steps over a little DRD. They had to film that like 12 times before he could actually do that. It's very tricky.
Yeah, I can imagine how that will work. I remember the first time I got the glasses that corrected my astigmatism, and I suddenly felt like several inches taller as well, because like the entire world suddenly seemed to be stretched outwards a little bit more. That was a really weird experience.
Oh, yes, I get that.
But yes, they've been to the Commerce Planet. They have acquired new food, which seems to be flight cases full of...
dried food rectangles.
Crackers, because that's apparently the only food that was available on the Commerce Planet.
That's it?
That's it.
That's what Crichton says to Chiana. He sort of chides her, and she goes, well, don't look at me. This is what they wanted to buy. And then he moves on to the next person he can blame, which is Erin, as usual, who's tinkering with one of the wanted beacons. And she said, well, I found 10 of these things at the market. We had to get out of there with whatever we could get
because
as soon
of the
as
wanted
possible,
beacons, yes.
before they could figure out what we were. Yeah, because Scorpius had dropped... She found like 10 wanted beacons in one market.
Just around the market. And like the implication was that there was loads more on the rest of the planet. So yeah, they wanted to get out and away.
And they brought these red sort of cross-hatched flight cases with food rectangles that everybody seems to be eating.
Yes. I mean, and they do literally look like crackers.
And you've observed previously that they've talked about food cubes, which were already rectangles, and I had to sort of bite my little tongue and the steam was coming out of my eyes not to say food rectangles, because these are the official ones. I like to imagine that like food cubes can come in very flat forms, but you can still put them in the space microwave and then have a beautiful roast chicken.
But these looked like genuine crackers and just like not something that you could rehydrate and turn into a pizza or something.
Chicken, good.
I mean, like, everybody seems to enjoy them, though. I mean, they're all munching on them happily. And I mean, I do kind of like hardtack, cracker-type foods.
I get you. It's
I love
nice
that
texture.
Gnawing, the little crack between your teeth. So I'd be down with that. Okay, like, just eating crackers for a while would be boring.
Yeah.
But, you know, there are worse alternatives, let me put it like that.
Yeah.
They have a little test of the cloaking system in which John fires up the module.
Yes, the module is being chosen as the beta test for this device that this alien Traltix is offering them, because John has upgraded it with Moya components, and so it'll be a decent test.
I love my module. So nothing funky better happen to it.
I like how Erin sort of gives John a tap on the chest and like, you're up. There was a lot of really sort of bro-y body language from everyone in this episode.
But John was already like very skeptic and standoffish here, and he goes like, no, this is going to work, and like, why do I have to use my module? But he gets in there, he turns it on. He's only allowed to turn it on for 10 microns apparently, because otherwise things are going to go bad.
10 exactly. More than that and the central device will overheat and explode.
Just gets better and better all the time, doesn't it, guys?
And as far as he's concerned, nothing happens.
Except what everybody else sees is that the ship slowly starts to go transparent from the back. And and he sits, after he turns it off, he goes like, oh, nothing happened. Everybody goes like, wow, that was awesome. Especially Zahn was very impressed. And she's generally not easy to impress.
I'm unimpressed by your masculine movies.
Oh, there was such a weird sort of aggressive energy to this episode. And you're right, especially John, because he's in your face with this alien. He tells him, you know,
I don't want him aboard. I don't trust him. He's trouble. Yeah, very much
snake oil salesman, which I think one of our listeners described him as during one of the fantastic synopses that we got for this episode. We got a lot of synopses, like talking about how he bought a set of steak knives that could cut through a car.
Yes, he keeps going back to the
infomercial,
the late night infomercial. Cut through a soul, cut through a car, and still slice a tomato. And that's actually true. I mean,
I'm sorry, hold on. Cut through a soul?
Soul, the soul of a boot.
That makes a lot more sense. I was wondering what kind of infomercials you'd been watching.
Yes, it's channel 666 that they're on.
Yeah, also makes julienne fries. Out of your soul. So his next job, after he's been convinced, is to go to Pilot and convince him.
Yes, and Pilot is being actually very forthright. He's like snippy again. Like I love Pilot when he's snippy.
While vaguely concerned about you, I'm much more interested in how this will affect Moya.
Yes, he's so good. When John asks him,
do I look stupid to you?
And Pilot
don't answer that.
Yes, he doesn't really. Just... I did love that in this. We get a lot of Pilot in this episode, at least compared to most other episodes.
Lani Tupu wrote a little note to Justin Monjo, who wrote this episode, like saying, thank you, giving me so much to do. You know, this episode was filler.
Oh.
There was an abrupt necessity for a bottle episode that takes place entirely on Moya, because there was a later episode that had some production delays.
Right.
And so couldn't get started, and so they very quickly needed something.
Yeah, we need to record something so we can keep the production rolling.
Yeah, and not like, I mean, they had episode budget for makeup and whatever, but set design and studio space was occupied and they couldn't move. So this was written very quickly, and like this is still part of Farscape. I mean, it's found sort of its base tone where it wants to be. It's that melancholy, that emotional, over the heart over the head kind of story. But they were still feeling out their limits. And so this was, let's see what we can do with these characters. What happens when we take all of their flaws and turn them up to 11?
No, I noticed that quite early on. One of my notes says, like, everybody's making weird eyes at each other. And, like, you notice it extremely quickly in the episode that people are, like, acting odd.
And the camera work as well. Like the angles are Dutcher than usual.
Lots of sweepy angle-changing Dutch angles where they're like pulling in and out of close-up from various characters, where they're backing off, and like lots of back sweepy angles that are normally either associated with one of the characters being off their head or sometimes just thrown in for fun effect.
Yeah, so having successfully like convinced Pilot to go along with this plan, they're off to Traltix's planet.
Yes.
Where the full-size device is going to be installed.
Which is apparently on the far side of a 4-pulsar solar system.
5 pulsars, in fact. Much like there are 4 heads and then there are 5 heads, just like myself and Traltix.
So I didn't catch that whole 5-head joke, because he's like got a fairly high forehead, and then he's got these bellows up on top of it, which you mentioned, we talked about earlier.
So there's a gorgeous shot of Moya traveling at a really unsafe proximity to these stellar bodies.
I'm assuming that she's like staying quite far away from it, but it's being shot with a telelens, so it looks like she's much closer.
Yes, agreed.
Let's go with that. Otherwise, it makes no sense how close those suns are together, or how close Moya is to them either.
They're not suns; they're pulsars.
Yes, which pull out hard radiation and don't burn the same way as sun. Pulsars are fast spinning dark objects, and you only detect them by radio emissions, not by light.
Maybe it's very fast spinning. So I mean, it's only being filmed at 24 frames per second.
Right. So
if it's spinning at more than... see,
it's like those helicopters which seem that the rotors aren't moving, or at least moving very slowly.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, let's go with that.
Almost everyone is on the command, and they're beautifully lit, because we don't regularly get like bright white light through Moya.
No.
I've noticed, by the way, that season 2, the lighting is quite different on Moya. It's much more... I want to say gothic. It's sort of... It doesn't have the same kind of... Like, there's still earth tones, but they're much paler earth tones. It doesn't have the same warmth and sort of...
Yes. I also noticed what you asked me about before, that, like, the ceilings seem lower. At least the corridors. The corridors seem to be a little smaller. Like, not a lot, but they're not as grand as that they used to be.
I get you. I honestly think that in part that's because of there's some exaggerated camera work in this episode.
Like lots of low angles.
Right. Yes. The sort of claustrophobia and paranoia. They're using longer and wider lenses. They're using a lower angle of view to really sell that.
Almost all shots are from below in this episode. That's really,
so Traltix, who is also on here, assures everyone that no, it should be everything should be fine.
But I should warn you.
Oh, here it comes.
Oh, here it
Some
comes.
Some lower life forms might be affected by the light. And of course, nobody here is a lower life form. You are all intelligent and you shouldn't be affected at all.
Everyone's Emperor's new clothing.
Yes. That's a very good way to put it.
You affected?
Nope. No.
Oh, I feel good.
I love Dargo saying nope. He is such a bro in this episode.
Although it very soon becomes clear that everybody is affected.
Yeah.
Zan almost immediately, because she's like having more photogasms. 345.
What are you...
At some point, John starts like commenting on her private moment count.
Number.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's about as explicit as his show has gotten so far.
He got bored doing kiss counts. Oh, Virginia Hay, she mentioned that she didn't think photogasms were sexual for Delvians, but it's just something that you need to feel complete.
The way she's acting them out sure seems like to an outside observer to be quite pleasurable.
Yeah, she's having some ladies' time.
Private moments there, yes.
Traltix is being given a tour of Moya. I think there's also another thing at play here. I think Moya is also filled with some hate haze. Just in the sort of atmospheric haze in the hallways lends this idea of oppression and closeness as well. We see Crichton testing his blindness, where he goes,
yes, how many fingers am I holding up? And he like has radar vision, and then you get the scene where he steps over the DRD.
I have no idea what the point is of this plot line.
No. I mean, he's just walking around Moya, trying to find a room which is apparently quiet enough for him to stay in.
Yes, there is something about that he wants a room that's as far away from the engine as possible.
To be honest, I think it's when he's just like looking for a room that he can later use in his experiments to get and I'm invoking the trial of Mintaka 3 here.
Yes, no, excellent. Because he winds up in the sluice chamber.
In the laundry room, yes.
Exactly. So, and yes, no, that's right. Further invoking the treat of Mintaka 3, when his plan fails, he talks about that he's going to find another Leviathan. He already knows what Leviathans are.
And know what they can do and how they can be used for his purposes.
Yes, he's after something with this Leviathan, and he knows that it's probably going to be in the sluice chamber, so he's using this as an excuse.
Yeah, oh no, this is way too noisy, or this is way too...
Right, that's clever.
My radar vision gets interrupted here, and Rigel is too noisy as well. Of course, Rigel doesn't want him around anyway, because Rigel's already starting to do his Rigel number 11, where he's like retreating and like starting to hoard the crackers.
Oh, not on his own, though.
No.
So he only starts hoarding because a paranoid Crichton, who has some Jack Nicholson vibes going on at this point, in The Shining.
Right. Here's Johnny.
He literally says it.
He literally says
it's
that.
It's so good. He talks to Rigel and tells him that he saw Chiana, which he did. He saw Chiana like munching down on some of the crackers, and better get there before it goes out of control.
And then Rigel goes into control and starts
in the center chamber.
Center chamber, not control. Yes, where Dargo finds him.
Whoa.
And then Dargo goes like, oh, are you stealing food again? And like only taking my share. And then those two hook up. And you get some camps going on here. So you got like Dargo and Rigel seem to like convince each other that...
Wait, what? Did you watch the same episode that I did? Because that's not what happens. Dargo attacks Rigel.
That too, but later on they team up.
Oh, no, okay, yeah. There's a lot of teams here. I actually have a note that I'm definitely going to use for one of the teams that happens later on. I'm not going to get to that yet. But yeah, sorry, I was just...
No, you're right.
I don't like to...
I kind of forgot about the fact that, Dargo... And this is the first time we see violence between the crew members. It's like... Dargo...
wait, hold on. I'm going to stop you again. Do you remember how they cut off Pilot's arm?
This episode.
Okay.
Sorry. Yes.
Nice save. Oh no! Maybe Trialtix is in the room and turning us against each other.
I'm
so sorry, Kay. Hold on. I'm definitely on your side.
We have seen the light. It is light out here when we're recording this, but there's no 5 pulsars hanging outside the window.
I've seen the light.
But yes, back on the story. Dargo confronts Rigel and basically picks him up, slams him down, and starts stuffing crackers in his face.
That really affected me.
No, absolutely.
Oh my god! Apparently, he nearly broke the brand new puppet that they built for season 2. The aggression there and the sheer helplessness. Our helpless little Hynerian. He's never been framed quite this vulnerable before. Not since he was buried up to his neck.
No, I guess not. But yeah, he actually looks kind of distraught. His earbrows are kind of unwaxed and He looks very unhappy at being pushed, having so much food. Yes, you have 3 stomachs. At least one of them must be empty, which is technically what he literally said at line point.
And Crichton did remark that he eats and craps his body weight every day.
Oh, I hope he's exaggerating.
He better be. Well, hold on. What is Rigel's body weight if you count all the helium?
That's not his body weight. That's you're talking buoyancy now. There's a difference between buoyancy and weight.
No, hold on. You put someone on the scales. That's how you measure their body weight.
Oh. But how do you measure the weight of a balloon? There's a difference between mass and weight.
Look, do you deflate yourself every time that you... no, hold on. Don't answer that question. This is a PG-13 podcast. Listen. Oh, yeah. Hey, speaking of teams, there's a new team emerging, and that's Trialtix and Pilot.
Yes.
Trialtix gets on the phone with Pilot and asks him some quite probing questions.
And, affects Pilot's do you like the people here? And Pilot's
I don't think I do like them.
And later on he asks, do you trust them? And he's again...
I don't know.
But yeah, there's some sort of effect going on, and we're led to believe that it's the light which is shining in, because that's at least what I was assuming
that's
at that point.
That's what Traltix is telling us, yeah.
Right, but it turns out that it kind of isn't, and that's like...
All right, I'm going to invoke the Treaty of Mintaka 3 here again, because, it's definitely Traltix that's doing it, because it's also affecting Pilot.
Right, John goes in and talks to Pilot about this, and like, is there any way that the light has touched you?
Nope.
And he goes like, no. Although, I mean, you'd think that like Moya is being bathed in it, and Pilot is like...
He says that Moya sensor readings show up on my database tables.
Yeah, but that's database tables. But also his tentacles are all around in Moya or whatever. It's like, we've never really explored like how he is bonded to Moya.
But then later on, he still concludes that, Traltix said that we were being affected through our optic nerves.
Yeah.
And then continues to believe that.
Which is kind of weird. But also, that's another thing that I noticed in this episode. Like, it never really gets explained how Traltix does this. It's like...
Right.
It's kind of like left in the dark. It's like, there is this effect, which is clearly being caused by Traltix, but we never find out how or what.
See, now that one I'm back on board with. That one, like, that distinguishes Farscape from, like, Star Trek The Next Generation.
We don't have to techno-babble our way out of everything.
Correct. Like, I actually find myself disappointed when they do the TNG route of taking a long time to figure out some scientific bullshit that really doesn't matter. No. But it doesn't matter. Like, they have the information. It's Traltix that's doing it to us. But you didn't know that going into the episode. So, like, what were you thinking at this point as you were... Because we're at a point in the episode, Dargo has just attacked Rigel.
Yes.
Traltix has been talking honestly quite reasonably with Pilot, asking whether he likes people.
But he's clearly being manipulative.
Yeah, you were feeling that already?
Yes, absolutely. He was like, I mean, at this point it's already clear that everybody's starting to turn on each other, and Traltix is trying to get Pilot to turn on everybody.
And Chiana is turning on Aaron. I really liked Chiana in this episode because her paranoia is... the worst.
I mean, she was already the most paranoid one, and it goes completely off the scale here. It's like, I want to see the thing on the what was it called, the beacon,
the wanted beacon,
beacon
that Aaron has been working on throughout.
And Aaron doesn't want to show her because like there's nothing there. Then John walks in and goes like, "Oh, for God's sake, show it to her." And then she's like,
"Wait a minute. Why do you want me to watch it? What's on there you want me to see?"
That's like...
Oh, yes. And then Dargo walks in with what's going on here.
Yeah.
And then we get the two teams that I have my note here. We have the team Aaron and Crichton and team Dargo and Chiana. We have team AC and team DC.
Oh.
I thought it was worth it.
Yes.
Which comes to a head when Dargo gives Crichton a thump.
Oh, yeah, he just like punches him right out. Dargo is pretty aggressive in this episode.
And then Crichton sort of shakes his head and goes, "Hey, guys.
He almost laughs it off.
Here's a deep cut for people who've watched certain British comedies in the 80s. Look at us. We're fighting, bickering. This isn't us."
Oh, young ones?
Very good, Rick Mail.
Look at us. Squabbling. Bickering. Like children. What's happening to us? We never used to be like this.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, he's right, Rick. We've always been like this.
Rest in glory, Rick Mail.
I love how Chiana tucks herself up to Dargo. Later on, she does she really kittenishly puts herself under his arm as well.
Yes, just like Rigel did to Crichton in Through the Looking Glass. But then after that, Dargo and Crichton are kind of okay again.
They always are.
Hey, sorry about that. Hey, you good?
Hey, bro. Yeah, we're good, bro.
They're super bro-y.
So yeah, there's lots of weird emotional manipulation going on.
Especially with Aaron, who is only trying to be polite!
Yes. She does have a bit of a screaming fit at Chiana.
I'm going to get a lot of mileage out of that little audio clip, I'm sure.
You know, I was only trying to be polite!
Traltix, in the meantime, zaps a DRD.
Yes, because he's been on the ceiling this whole time.
Yes, he's been listening in on them.
Whoa, and influencing their emotions, as we now know.
At this point, I was wondering if there was a second one on board. Because at this point, Traltix has he's wearing this scaly, plated armor type outfit. And the other Traltics that we see is generally more robed, I believe. He just like...
I'm looking through my gifs.
I was really wondering whether or not he was like... It was like a different... when he's talking to the crew, he's definitely much more robed. And when he's like crawling on the ceiling, he's just wearing his body armor type outfit. So I was genuinely wondering if there was a second one on board at this point.
He has a coat. Yes, very good. This is another... Hey, ever since Chiana came aboard, they've been really focusing on coats.
Yeah.
Dargo got a cool, like, armored poncho, and Crichton got his great coat in the last episode that we watched. But yes, you're right. Traltix had a traveling coat that he's shucked, as well as displaying the ability that his vestigial eyes have these sort of sequence of like spots from which he can emit light and destroy a DRD.
Yeah, he just blasts them out of the way. Zahn is having another private moment, and then Erin goes and pulls Rigel out of one of the corridors, I suppose.
Yeah.
She's like walking around with her gun, being extremely paranoid, pulls open a duct, hauls Rigel out of it, or at least through it.
Let go of me! Did Dargo send you to finish the job?
Be quiet.
We need to form a united front. Are you with me? She says as she puts the gun to his head.
Yes. Oh.
And look, there is now a spiral of paranoia. We have Chiana and Dargo stalking the hallways. Zahn passes them in complete disinterest, and they go, "Oh, she's got to be reporting to Crichton."
Yes, even though she's doing nothing of the sorts. But everybody, the paranoia is turned up to max.
Yep, Dargo tongue lashes her, and they go,
"She's definitely working with Crichton."
Definitely.
Yes. Yeah, Dargo puts her out of the fight.
Crichton tries to talk to Pilot.
Which I thought was a really good scene.
Yeah. Because he keeps asking for, like, did you finish the spectral scan that he'd asked for?
And Pilot is being super belligerent towards him.
Yeah.
I'm only judging on my experience with you, but I've never seen such a deficient species.
Have you run the scan on the pulsar light yet?
How do humans make it through a cycle, even half a cycle, without killing each other?
We find it difficult. Have you run the scan?
You have no special abilities. You're not particularly smart, can hardly smell, can barely see, and you're not even vaguely physically or spiritually imposing.
Yeah. Oh, he really puts down John.
Oh.
Is there anything you do well?
Watch football.
Leading to the point that John actually just like, okay, if you're not going to do the scan, I'm going to do the scan. He crawls onto Pilot's console, starts pushing buttons.
The boppet.
Nobody trusts you, Crichton. Do you know that? Sometimes they pity you because of your incompetence.
Once something
but you
done,
amuse
do
us,
it yourself.
and that don't touch my console.
Oh, you want to talk about incompetence?
Go
I bet
away.
nobody would dump your ass in a heartbeat if she had a torch.
There is a zap bang, and I don't know, actually, not sure what it is that happens there. If it's just like the console sparking out, or if it's like a Pilot using his rape taser or something that he...
Whoa! Oh, wow!
Anti-rape taser, I should call it. It's like, I mean, I can imagine...
No. Those have different holsters.
I mean, I can imagine that he would have gotten himself some sort of point defense after they ripped his arm off, and he goes like, "That's not going to happen to me again."
I warned you.
Oh wow, yeah, maybe that's why he usually has so many DRDs around.
It's unclear what happens, but yeah, John gets zapped off the console and
shakes him loose again, and he goes once again, "We're fighting, bickering."
Yes,
but Pilot doesn't believe him. Crichton goes to the center chamber again, where Erin and Rigel are taking their share. But his attempts to
diffuse
mollify
the situation,
them don't work very well because he is losing it.
Yeah.
Where's my ice cream?
He goes on and what is ice cream? Rigel goes like, "Oh, I know everything about all the foods in the galaxy."
I have no idea what Isis Cream is.
Isis Creams? Yeah, I have no idea.
I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. Baskin Robbins, Ben and Jerry's good humor. What's your favorite? Creamsicle or Fudgesicle?
What must it have been like on that set? To actually, look your co-stars in the eyes and see this madness.
I think
aggression.
I'll bet there was tons and tons of outtakes from this episode because it's just like them losing it because of it.
That has almost certainly got to be true. I will get on. Hey, Team Kaki, help me with the research. Let's find some outtakes from episode 204, Crackers Don't Matter.
crackers do matter because that's what Dargo and Chiana are loading into the module.
Oh, is that what they're doing? I hadn't even realized.
I'm pretty sure that they're taking their share of the food.
Into the Farscape module, but John shows up after he sees Zan slumped over in the come-down tent.
Ooh.
He shows them that he has taken the Blaupunkt car radio out of his module.
The module can't fly, and Chiana and Dargo both look very disappointed and like, oh, but we were going to escape with this thing and leave.
Oh, and also, he didn't care at all about Zan, so maybe they're not working together.
And then, no, they're definitely working together.
Dargo, he just left her here.
Yeah.
You said she was working for him.
She was.
Oh, she was. Stay back!
No, Chiana.
No, you stay back.
Yeah.
Dargo is such a himbo.
He is very much so in this episode. Normally he shows a little bit more intelligence, although he tends to rush into things. But this episode, yes, he is totally a himbo. We get a firefight between Aaron and John.
Yes, because Aaron and Rigel have holed up on the command. She moves the table where they show the cool hologram sometimes when they have the budget left over.
She's shoved it in front of the door, preventing it from opening completely.
So it's open only a crack, and through that comes here's Johnny. I noticed, by the way, there's this really cool sort of teal lighting going on in the command. There's all these neat blue-green highlights on the ribbing overhead.
I mean, there is lots of weird lighting going on because our alien is playing with the lighting inside Moya.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always weird, where is the light coming from? There seems to be lots of lights hidden behind beams and stuff to create interesting light effects shining into various components.
Love it.
But yeah, there's a little Polish standoff from which Aaron has.
Wait, what's a Polish standoff?
It's don't come in or I'll shoot myself.
Oh, yes, because at one point, Aaron points her own pulse pistol at her head, and Crichton, through his madness, tries to go, "You're insane, look at what you're doing." Oh, you're right.
I don't have the setting turned up high enough. So and she shoots at him, fortunately misses.
Yes.
He runs off and he finds Chiana on the ground fiddling with the wanted beacon, showing a hologram of Scorpius, talking about John Crichton, John Crichton, John
Yes,
Crichton.
wanted for all crimes.
Chases her off, and then, ironically talks to the hologram.
I don't get it, Scorpius. I don't get how crazy they are.
And then the hologram turns from red into black, and Scorpius just steps out, starts talking back to him. Yes, that was a creepy scene.
You're right, John. They don't get it. They don't get how crazy they are.
'Cause they stole the crackers.
Okay, what were you thinking here?
Yeah, no, he's losing it. It's just
right?
Yeah, there's absolutely no chance that this is for real. You know that. I mean, everybody at this point is clearly going insane from the effects that our resident alien is having on them.
Yeah, and it's manifested for Crichton by the vision of Scorpius, who is hovering over his shoulder, encouraging him to go back and kill Aaron, and then we'll go to the beach.
I know a place with naked Sebastian girls and margarita shooters.
I know, but nobody has pizza with margarita, which I don't see what the problem would be.
I was wondering how long we were going to get there, and hey, Kay, how about pizza and margarita shooters?
Okay. I mean, I'm not sure how you make a margarita shooter, but I mean, is it just
where there's a will, there's a way?
Is it just all the ingredients for margarita just in a shot glass? I mean, that seems just like a very small margarita to me.
You know, I actually don't know what a shooter is.
I think a shooter is like a shot.
Are you sure? So what are the little jello things called?
Oh,
that
would be a shooter.
Is that possible? That's a shooter?
Oh, that could do. Okay, I've made those in the past.
Yes, you have. Wait, hold on. There are dessert pizzas.
Yes.
Okay, follow this train of thought.
Yes, margarita, dessert.
Jello, margarita shooters, dessert pizza.
I mean, dessert pizza is just
that's madness, though.
Yes.
That is madness. No, never mind. Hold on. Let's backtrack and get out of the light. Here's our firefight, by the way.
Yes.
Under Scorpius's influence, John has headed to the command. Blast, blast, blast.
It's double pistoling, cowboy action style shooting goes on between him and Aaron until they both run out of ammo and dissolve into giggling fits about the fact that they were just shooting at each other.
And then charge at each other.
Turning presumably into a fist fight off screen, which, to my surprise, John wins. Because next we see him dragging Aaron off back to the rest of the group.
Where he has already captured Dargo and Chiana. Ooh, we're going to have to invoke there was another fight between him and Dargo. Oh, and I actually feel bad about missing out on this one. There was a scene where Crichton corners was Chiana.
Yeah, that I didn't like that scene. That had like very rapey vibe to it.
Is this why your family abandoned you? Because you'd spread them for anybody, anytime.
John, please don't.
Nope, pray not.
Tell me how you felt about that.
Well, like I said, uncomfortable. It was just like, there was like, I mean, okay, Chiana has always been the most sexualized character of the group anyway, but like she uses that to her own advantage.
Right, she's a self-actualized sexual person.
Yes,
yeah.
But in this case, John goes very rapey on her, at least potentially rapey on.
Verbally abusive.
Very abusive.
It's physical assault.
Encouraged by Scorpius, who actually suggests that he ties her up and saves her for later, after he deals with the rest of the crew. Yeah, that was like very uncomfortable.
Do you know that this was added later?
Oh?
Yeah. So this episode was filmed, and then Ian Watson, the director, was watching it back, and he felt they hadn't gone far enough.
Oh,
that these characters had not been pushed far enough, and they did a pickup scene, Ben Browder and Gigi Edgley, where like Gigi would later talk about like how scary and intimidating it was to have this kind of aggression. But also, like, Ben was a very nurturing influence on the set. I've understood. Like, he made it possible for her to give this performance, but like they always had like a come down and a cuddle afterward to ensure.
I mean, you can see it in her expression is genuinely terrified.
Yeah.
She loses her. She plays terrified occasionally.
Yeah,
in character she plays terrified, but here you can just.
She's a teenager, right? She's a young woman.
Yes,
as a character, and Gigi Edgley, like she was also a young actress here, skilled in her craft, but without the years and years of like theater and screen experience that the other actors had.
Yeah,
so
very powerful scene, very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I
thought it was very bold to take your hero, because that's what Crichton is. And
put him in like that,
yeah.
So his dark side, well, not necessarily his dark side, but
to make it worse,
yes.
Because again, this episode had been filmed without this scene. It would have worked without this scene, and it was added specifically to tarnish John.
Yes. Sorry, Mintaka 3 again. At the end of the shooting scene earlier,
yeah.
Where we have Scorpius in a Hawaii shirt but still wearing his BDSM mask.
Yes, it's so great because he's talking about, we'll go to the beach with the naked Sebastian girls, margarita shooters.
And John just ends up shooting him, and then he just completely dissolves in a whole cloud of spinny little...
Yes.
Scorpius heads, and it just like it goes almost cartoonesquely comic at that point.
Yeah,
you know, with like the little birds and the stars floating around, except it's just little heads of Scorpius. It's like I thought it was a very interesting choice of like him dealing with the mental instability
with
the
dementia and insanity, and then like that does seem to clear it up for Crichton.
At least for him, yes.
At least to stabilize it, because now he's got everyone except Pilot prisoner, and then he decides to treat them all to a PowerPoint presentation with one slide.
Yes,
he turns around the door and it says Traltix.
Yes,
T''RALTIXX. Traltix.
I thought that was really fun, how like you can see him actually use the door properly for a while. I think he didn't have Zahn captured either, but Zahn was just like wandering around, just being happy.
Oh, she'd been tongue lashed.
She had been, yeah. She was kind
so
of,
she was on the come down,
but he didn't tie her up.
No, she was wandering off, and she confirmed at his prompting that she was more affected by the light when Traltix was near.
Yes.
Because he's trying to convince them it's not the light, it's Traltix. He's turning us all against each other.
Traltix, who has holed himself up in the laundry room, and he is convincing Pilot to keep adding more power cores.
The Leviathan laundrette. Sorry, yes, I just had to get that out there.
Convincing him to throw more and more power towards that, and to get him to do his thing. He's
for like, the bioluminescence that he's trying to trigger.
He's strung up, he's strung up all sorts of cables, and the room is getting brighter and brighter, and he's like having more power, more light.
I'm at systems overload.
I need more light.
But why? I'm not sure if I can.
More light.
All right.
I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but like apparently it's the thing he wants. Like the 5 pulsars isn't enough. He wants light from Moya.
See, good. That was my thought as well. Yeah. Why not? If what you want is light, why do you need to turn a biomechanoid bioluminescent?
Right. I don't know. Maybe they can tune the light.
There's so much light that you can have. There's so many sources.
Might just not be the right frequency. Might not be the right pulsing. I mean, you can maybe you can turn Moya into intermittent pulse setting, which makes it all the better.
So at this point, he's convinced everyone that, okay, it's Traltix that's doing it, but Crichton is still like trusting that Traltix was telling the truth by saying that it was all based on optical neurons.
Yes.
Which is where everyone concludes that, that must be why you're better able to resist it, because you have the shittest eyes.
Oh, yes. We have another little bitch fight about like if humans are like the inferior species or not.
Yep, because they're so deficient, like Pilot said.
If you can't if your eyes are so good, what does it say on that basin over there? And like he looks at it and there's nothing.
Doesn't say anything.
And everyone goes, ha ha ha.
Warning, don't flush corrosives.
Down the waste tunnel.
That's all right. That's a joke.
Warning, and they cover one eye. They're standing even farther away than he is.
Yes, that's like a little bit more ragging on the human.
Humans are superior.
Yes.
But he is soon made superior through everyone's help.
He still manages to convince them that he is the one who needs to go and take out Traltix for some reason. Maybe
but this is it.
Yeah,
like
he's the one least affected by it.
Yeah, exactly. He can go in there with the best defenses, but they're going to bolster his defenses, and everyone contributes.
Yes.
Dargo gives his Qualta Blade.
I thought that was like quite interesting that he actually went and like hands that over to John. Yes.
That's kind of huge. Aaron gives a piece of her Prowler that he can use as a shield.
Yeah.
He's got the goggles that I think he got from Dambada still, now painted black,
yes,
like everything else in the universe.
And he gets like a nice little fresh plant mask.
A bit of a cucumber wax
yes.
From Zan, who pre-digested it.
For him, yes. He goes like, it smells like puke. And oh God, it is puke.
It's puke!
Which is like, fair enough.
They just keep like piling stuff on him, like this cape of thermal regulating material that you've got to clasp very tightly.
And he gets a hat put on his head, which has also been soaked in Sans bile.
Wait, that's one of the PK hats. That's the Baldric.
It is, yes.
Ugh.
And I don't know, he looks like an escapee from the Rocky Horror Picture Show by the end of it. Yeah. I mean, from the thumbnail that we saw at the beginning, I thought he'd joined the Insane Cloud Posse, but
yes. And for those concerned at home, hey, for the MPAA, we're watching it on my own personal DVDs because Amazon Prime does not show Farscape in the Netherlands.
Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah, it is quite annoying. So he's finally also fitted with Traltix's invisibility device.
Yes.
Why that is relevant, I do not know, because Traltix is in fact blind. But whatever.
Very good point. I hadn't considered that at all.
Moving on with the plot.
It does happen. Like, he does walk into the room, and Traltix immediately notices that someone's there, but still can't see him because, I don't know.
Okay,
invisibility device
not
weirdness.
Before, he gets he's got the clasp for his cape, and he's got his sword, and he's got his puke mask, and he's got his goggles, and he's got a puke helmet. And they finally put the invisibility medallion around his chest. And then he sort of stands there. I look ridiculous, don't I?
And he does this Captain America-like pose with the shield.
The Ride of the Valkyries.
Throws the cloak around and
everyone's standing there going,
we are going to die.
Yes, this is it. We are losing this fight.
Oh, we see a beautiful shot of Moya from the outside, glowing, light beaming
her
everywhere.
White lines are starting to really shine outside, which again makes no sense. Why would you make the outside of her shine when he's just wanting to soak up all the light?
But into the chamber, into the Leviathan laundrette he goes.
Yes, he walks in. Traltix immediately notices that he's there despite the invisibility shield. He starts chopping power cables, slowly diminishing the amount of light there and greatly disturbing Traltix.
It looks like a game show, right?
It
like
is
one of those, like Crystal
Japanese,
Maze or Japanese. Yeah, no, that's great. Where you have to do these physical challenges, all while he's being rendered invisible via a long cable back to his module, where Rigel is counting down.
Yes, he's been told no more than 10 microts, and Rigel's like 8,
9, 10.
11. Being his usual dickish self. But it doesn't matter because the cable gets shot by Traltix's...
Traltix saves the day.
Yes.
Crichton may very well have died if it wasn't for Traltix cutting that cable.
His eye blasts shoot the cable and he becomes visible. Doesn't stop him, he just keeps chopping cables.
Until Traltix falls to the ground and... Crichton straight up murders him.
Actually, Traltix jumps to the ceiling first.
Oh, yes, you're right. And then
John uses the Qualta blade to shoot him down.
That's right.
And then stabs him with it.
And
twists the blade and just straight up kills him no remorse, no regrets, no regrets.
That's right, as the famous tattoo says. Well, regrets. Pilot, we see him next after we come back to a much less glowing, still luminous Moya, who is on the comms to Dargo and Rigel and apologizing to them. He says, I've talked to everyone else. I want to apologize. Rigel magnanimously accepts.
Yes.
Which Pilot is grateful for.
Although Rigel doesn't accept Dargo's apology.
No.
Yeah. Not yet, at least.
Yes, and then he says not yet. Very good. And it's also like Luxons are not given to apologies.
No.
We've heard that before. Dargo didn't apologize to Pilot for cutting his arm off.
No.
But he apologized to Rigel for force-feeding him those crackers.
It kind of makes sense, because cutting his arm off, he did willingly and under his own volition. Whereas this, he did while he was under the effect of Traltex's whatever it was. So I can see how he would
It's not a choice he would make again. Yes.
Exactly. I think that's why it makes more sense that he would apologize for that rather than for something that he did willingly and in full command of his faculties. Everybody else in the meantime is pushing the table back that Aaron managed to dislodge, and John comments like, how did you move that on your own? And Aaron's just like,
I don't know. I just did.
Yeah.
I'm just that cool. I really like this image of everyone like moving this piano together.
Right, yes.
That's a real sort of housemates kind of move.
Yeah, everybody trying to reestablish the fact that this was like not normal behavior, that they were under the influence and that they want to
put their house back the way
in order.
Yeah. There's some sort of reconciliatory talk. Zan has no memory of what happened.
Pretty much none, no.
John and Aaron go,
listen, anything I said,
I know. Me too.
We're good.
Yeah. They both get each other. But the person I was most impressed with is Chiana.
Mm-hmm.
Because John comes to Chiana and like apologizes for assaulting her in the hallway. And she does the most generous thing that a person, I think, can do. And she reassures him like, oh, no.
Some of the things you said.
Yeah, look, I'm sorry, really.
Oh, no, look, don't apologize. I was impressed.
How did you come up with that?
Oh, no, but she's talking about the trash talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what she's doing. She's deflecting this. She is absolving him of blame by acting as if it doesn't really affect her. Now, that's kind of her defense mechanism.
Always is, yeah.
But she's doing it out of generosity.
Mm.
Like when Zan asks...
Did I say anything awful, Chiana?
You don't remember?
No, Traltix triggered such an intense reaction in me, I blanked everything out.
Wow. I wish I could do that. No, Zan, look, you were the best out of all of us. You look like you were having a great time.
You were the best of all of us.
Yes.
Chiana is, like, she's trying to, like, she's slathering on the cement to tie this family back together.
Keep it from flying apart because of all the things it said. Because, like, everybody's character flaws, I suppose, are dialed up to 11 here in this episode.
Yeah, but then we come back and Chiana's virtues are dialed up to 11 as well.
Yes.
This is such a... I think that she can do this because she is a teenager.
Right, that makes sense.
Right, because we saw how quickly she absorbed this family and tried to cement it together with the meal in the final episode of season 1.
And she's, I guess, the kid trying to keep the dysfunctional family from flying apart by overcompensating and trying to take care of that. I wonder if that's going to come back to bite her.
I mean, she's mercurial. One episode she wants to leave.
True.
The next episode she wants... because that's kind of her experience of life. And now... she wants everyone to understand that they're still good. And I was so impressed with, like, how cool would it be after you've made some mistakes for someone to treat you like Chiana treats everyone that she sees?
Yeah, she's extremely generous in that regard.
Oh, okay, let's do a quick note review. Do you have any notes that you...
Just something that I just, realized, towards the end, why does Zan always wear blue? She is already blue. It would be like me always wearing, a kind of, pinkish, undertanned, skin-colored suit. Why does she always wear blue? Is that...
Okay, interesting to have this come up now, because, yes, she's been wearing her vestments again, and it's extra noticeable because she's got the gold sort of collar.
Right, but also her gown, is all her clothes are always blue. I mean, you can, orange would go very well with blue.
Yeah,
herself, she's, blue. I mean, I think it's a bit weird. I mean,
I think it's a valid question.
Dargo always wears red, almost always wears red. Occasionally wears black.
And he's a lot more color coordinated now than he was previously, because now his tan actually matches his clothes.
Yes.
So he has that harmony going on. Chiana, grey, wears grey and black.
I mean, Rigel is greenish, but he wears red. So
and
I guess,
purple.
And
he
purple,
looks stunning in purple.
Yes. And John wears whatever looks hot in him.
Oh, he's wearing his vest now.
Yes.
He's got the leather pants.
And Erin is still kind of wearing her Peacemaker outfit.
Also black leather.
Yes. It's probably faux leather. Or not. Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, it's probably not pleather. Pleather is even less comfortable than leather.
That would be horrible.
It's glorious. I wonder about it. I mean, you'd look good in pink because there are different shades of her skin color. I noticed this as well with the only time we've seen other Delvians in Rhapsody in Blue.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was mostly blue, but some of them were more violet blue and some of them were more teal blue. Hey, maybe that's a limitation to her field of vision. Her color perception.
It was just a random thought I had.
Interesting. I'm really curious about that now because, like, everybody throughout human history, at least, everybody has loved color. Color is how you like. That's those are your fancy clothes that you come out with. They're colorful.
I mean, color is expensive.
Exactly. Dyes are tough. Like your good clothes, your good colorful clothes, they fade quickly because they fade anytime you wash them. So you show off, these are the clothes that I don't have to wash very often. I only wear them when I don't do labor.
Yes. I guess Sunday clothes don't get washed until they get too smelly, and then after you wash them once or twice, they stop being your Sunday clothes.
As soon as you wash them,
then
or at least in the Dutch tradition, dan is de zondag eraf. Then the Sunday's been washed off.
Yes.
And then you've got to get new ones, and those become your new like fancy labor clothes.
Right, yes.
Okay, I had a few notes.
Yeah, go for it.
There was a lot of Stanley Kubrick references. There was
tons and tons of them.
There was The Shining.
Here's Johnny.
But also, Pilot got to be Hal.
I'm sorry, John. I cannot do that.
I actually have that down as my Woody. Well, actually, my Woody goes to the banter anyway. It's like it was amazing. But that specific one, that was beautifully hilarious when Squeed when Pilot goes like, "Sorry, John, I can't do that."
I have so many things to give my Woody to. It was, Scorpy in a Hawaiian shirt.
Yes, that was amusing.
Which is legendary among cosplayers, by the way. Like that shirt is. There are still impossible. A few on eBay, and they're very expensive. There was a really cool conversation between Crazy Crichton and Crazy Aaron, where he says, "Listen,
Aaron, listen."
No. I am tired of having to always listen to you.
Aaron,
listen, Aaron.
Aaron, listen.
Listen.
Listen, gasshole.
Listen, please.
Listen.
I really dug the fight between Pilot and John. For something, that was a really cool scene. It was
the sort of bitch slap patty cake.
Yes, and he just goes like climbing all over it and pushing buttons until he gets zapped off.
I warned you.
But on the converse, I think in general, my Willy for this episode really goes towards the violence towards each other. It's like, the first time I had it written down was when Dargo started bashing down on Rigel, but that was only the beginning of it, and like especially the rapey scene between John and Shiana. That was
I'm with you.
But all of it, all the constant violence, and the only exception to that one was the kind of humorous firefight between John and Aaron, but at that point they were starting to almost play it for comedic effect.
That was kind of glorious, and I mean also insane. I'm with you. Those both have my Willy as well. I respect that those scenes were in there as tough as they were to watch. Like if you're going to show your characters at their worst, this is the kind of courage that Farscape has that other shows don't.
No, I guess not. Yeah.
There's this willingness to drive these characters really into extremes that are tough to forgive, and then see if people do it, because Rigel doesn't.
No.
Shiana does.
Yeah. And everybody else kind of just goes like, well, business as usual, I guess.
Yep. For the Woody, I have a lot of candidates. Right. Pilot, Snippy Pilot.
Pilot.
Obviously.
Pilot is gorgeous in this episode.
The moment where Crichton realizes he looks ridiculous and then he brandishes his sword while he's covered in puke. That is also
holds the shield, cape goes billowing.
That is also the music that I've used in this podcast. Whenever the episode is finished and we go into the Willy and Woody. Oh, speaking of which,
we've already done Willy and Woody, but
Mintaka 3, come on. All right. And that's the story so far, Farscape.
We'll see you next week with episode 205. The Way We Weren't.
Yes, we only have one synopsis for this one, and it's by Grace.
Have you ever wondered who had your co-worker's job before your co-worker got that job? Buckle up, let's find out.
Thank you so much for that one, Grace. I'm really excited to show The Way We Weren't to you. But in the meantime, you can find us at Farscape on Twitter and Farscape and Farsbook,
yes.
Farsbook.com. Thank you for joining us on So Farscape. I've been Kaki.
I'm Kay.
So Farscape, so good.